Hey there, bummers. It is Chief Bum Maude Garrett here. We are live with Geeks Unleashed. If this is your first time watching, hello, welcome. Basically, this is a nice little relaxed bedroom Q&A that I like to conduct. Yes, welcome to my boudoir. Yes, it also looks like a 16-year-old boy lives here, but that's irrelevant. I'm really excited about today's guest. I actually only met him this year through my Star Wars podcast called Jedi Alliance. I do know he's a big nerd, so he's absolutely perfect to not only talk about how he got started, but the kind of games that he's playing, and we'll kick things off with power. I am talking about Josh Ovenshire, the Juves. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me here today. More importantly, I'm so glad I was able to get my technology to work that I can do this.
This is your first time on a Hangout.
Yeah, I'm a little slow to the Google Hangout game. I try to put it off as long as possible, but for you, I was like, yes, I will learn this.
It is time. Where are we? Where are you in your house? Is that a bookcase?
This is a corner of my bedroom. I have some of my collectibles here on the shelf. Oh,
go back. What was that? Is that a Death Star?
The
solar
art in the corner?
system. Yes.
Yeah, it was actually a street artist, and he didn't know what Star Wars was, so I had to describe all these Star Wars planets, and I was like, yeah, the Death Star. Imagine a moon, but it kind of looks like this, and so he just like painted it by how I described it. So I was like, this is awesome. This is going up.
Wow, never seen Star Wars.
Know what Star Wars is.
That guy's a unicorn. That's incredible. And for those that don't know me, I run Geek Bomb. I started about 2.5 years ago, basically as a geeky outlet, because a lot of my time I'm hosting a radio show that's all about celebrityism. This morning I actually did a junket and interviewed Josh Gad and Kevin Hart for the new one, The Wedding Ringer. And all I could talk to Josh Gad about was how he voiced Olaf in Frozen.
He's such a great voice actor. I love him.
He didn't want to build a snowman.
But see him do a lot more.
Yeah, no, he's going to kill it. He's so great. He's so funny as well. What we do at Geek Bomb as well is a little game called Power, PWR, and it's all about what you're playing, watching, and reading. So I want to hear it from you. What are you currently playing, watching, and reading? Go.
All right, playing. I just beat Shadows of Mordor. That game was fantastic. Now,
how good is Shadow of Mordor?
It's so good. It is so good. Like, you do get a little overpowered if you're playing the game right, but then you just feel like the biggest badass that Middle-earth has ever seen, and I love every moment of it. Every moment of it.
I'm having a big problem with the poison blades, and especially the ones where you can't roll over them, so they throw you back down, and then they slice you straight away, and then it's just like your health meter's gone.
Yeah, there were some bad guys that I just had to avoid altogether because I didn't know how to beat them because they were like immune to any form of combat. So once I could take over other orcs, I just took over everyone around them and just let them kill them. A lot easier that way. And
I've got a confession.
What's that?
I have a bad habit of doing orc impersonations now.
So they're like old British grumpy men?
Well, I thought that was my favourite part. It's like you're roaming around and then all of a sudden it's like zoom. Oi, Ta! I thought I killed you yesterday!
That's fantastic. That's
now
fantastic.
I'm doing it all the time.
I go around the office with the other Smosh Games guys, and I'll put my hand on their face when they aren't looking. I'm like, I see you. And they're like, what are you doing? They don't think it's as funny as I do, but it's great.
2 questions then. Is this your game of the year, and what are you going to play next?
It was my game of the year until I started playing Dragon Age, and that's currently what I'm putting all my time into. And they are 2 different beasts, so it's hard to say one is better than the other. But I'm leaning more towards Dragon Age just because it's so big. The story is amazing. I like the combat. It's a good mix of the first game and the second game. The story is so much better than the second one. It is a fantastic next-gen RPG. So I think I'm leaning towards that one. But that's the argument this year is Shadows of Mordor or Dragon Age.
Well, the Game Awards, they announced last night that they crowned Dragon Age as the winner. EA is supposed to be sending me a copy, and it hasn't arrived yet, and the only person I can talk to about it is on vacation and for like another 4 days.
That's really funny.
I'm torn.
Once you get it, though, be glad that you don't have it yet. This is giving you more time to get everything else done, because it's a huge time suck. Like, there's so much to do. So much.
But my relationship is my Xbox. Like, that's my boyfriend, so
Good. Good. Then
um,
you guys
I
are
don't
about to
mind
have an
spending.
anniversary. A little time away.
Yay. Now, I played Dragon Age 1 and 2. You're right, 1 is a
Mhm.
lot better than 2. What I want to know, are you a warrior, are you a rogue, or are you a mage?
I always play Rogue first. Rogues do it from behind. They're the best. They stab from behind.
Yes, of course. No, yeah, that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about. We're talking about a game.
Yeah.
I initially was always warrior, and then
Mhm.
I've moved in the last few years to being mage only, and it is so much cooler. No?
Yeah, my one of the other guys on Smosh Games, Flitz, he's playing the game also. He's way past him, but he's playing as a mage, and he can't stop talking about the gameplay for that. So I think next time, if there's a next time, if I want to do like 3 hours of 300 hours of this game, I'll probably go back as a mage.
Whew. Okay, so that's what you're playing. What are you currently watching, whether it's a movie or a TV series?
Uh, Flash and Arrow. Oh my God, those are amazing. They just had the crossover episode this last week, and then we're about to go into the mid-season finale next week. And I actually just watched the trailer for Flash, which has Reverse Flash in it, and I saw that before doing this. I'm like, I want it now.
I have a problem with the hashtag Flaro.
What's the problem?
It sounds like a flaccid arrow.
It's a Flaro. Just not strong enough to get the job done, but there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, sometimes the stress that Oliver Queen has to endure is too much, and sometimes his arrows turn into flaros. It happens to everyone.
Hey, not everyone.
No, no, no.
Um, so any movies that you've seen? What's the last movie that you saw?
What was the last movie that I saw? The last one, Big Hero 6. Oh my God, that movie was amazing.
How
Like
cute was it?
I wanted to see it. I also knew that I was going into like a kids movie, but then like I was watching, I was like, this is amazing. Like it's like they don't shy away from death. Fall Out Boy has an amazing song in it. It's action packed. The Baymax is so adorable,
Oh my
so
god, it's the
adorable.
sweetest. I actually interviewed Baymax.
Really?
They
Oh, so lucky.
yeah, for that junket, they set up and he was like animated, but the guy who voiced Baymax was in the other room, and I was actually having a conversation with Baymax. It is, I couldn't help it. I was trying to be professional, but I was like, "Sup, buddy? How are you, Baymax?" And he's like, "Sup, buddy? Are we buddies? I could be your buddy." And I was just like, oh, this is the best fun I've had.
This is
That was great.
fantastic.
I don't want
Um,
to spoil anything, but at the end of that movie, I'm going to say very vaguely, I don't think that they needed to. I think that science should have won. I think science was enough. But the way that they ended it, science
yes.
wasn't enough. You had to be more.
Yeah. They did definitely take, I think, like a very Disney approach to the ending. But I see where you're coming from there. That makes sense.
Mm.
Still great.
Without
That makes sense.
spoiling it.
Yeah.
It's like it's setting it up for like the next 6 movies, Avengers style. It's
And
like,
I would be okay with that. So for
okay.
those watching, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it immediately.
Yes, you must watch Baymax. Sorry. And
Uh,
what are you
I'll go
reading,
ahead.
whether it's comics or books? Oh yeah, I cut you off. Sorry.
I'm catching up. I went through at the point all the comics I was reading kind of hit like a little end. So I was like, all right, I'll let a bunch of stuff come out, and now I'm gonna start to rebuy like hardcovers. Since the Suicide Squad announcement a few days ago, I'm now going back to like catch up on the New 52 Suicide Squad and get that collection going. I'm waiting for my Walking Dead Volume 10. I'm reading through the hardcover ones, so I'm waiting for Volume 10 so that I can continue reading some Walking Dead because that's my jam.
Wow. Oh really?
Oh yeah, I love
Did
the Walking Dead comic.
is it true that you played a walker in an online series?
I did. The Walking Dead you've done your research. The Walking Dead has, yeah, like a web series that they'll do between seasons. And I was in the last one, and I got to sit in the makeup chair with K and B, and they went through the entire process to get me into a zombie, and it was fantastic. It was amazing.
This is on a scale of 1 to how'd you go?
I bring my zombie game, so I was definitely like, ugh, way to the top, way to the top. Like
I'm
I
sorry, was
grew
that
up
your zombie?
around. What was it? What's that?
That was supposed to be your zombie impersonation. I was like, what kind of zombie? You know how like some of them are like, "Ugh," and some of them are just like, ugh.
Oh, I
I
was
just
I
wanted
was
to
like
know.
more of a slow moving, like the jaws not really moving too much, and it's just more like a guttural sound coming through, like where just the just throat sounds going. That was me. That's the kind of zombie I bring. Here, yeah, pop a jumping jaw, like maybe that that's very cool. Wow, you can get your mouth entirely sideways. That's impressive.
Oh yeah, this old chestnut. I can. I think I'm the only person in the world that's challenged Jim Carrey to a face-off and actually won.
That's
That's my claim to fame.
impressive. That is a
Um,
great claim to fame.
Look, one of the things that you mentioned that someone's actually asked about, I do believe it was on Twitter. Her name started with M. I will get there if I find it. Wanted to know what your thoughts were on the Suicide Squad. Now, I know you put out a video that explains everything, so let's
Hmm.
not only plug where they can get the full extension of that video, but just give me a nutshell approach to it. Obviously, you're excited about it.
Yeah, well, I actually came on as a geek correspondent for New Media Rockstars, and I did a video with them explaining why the Suicide Squad news is a big deal. First of all, just the cast. The cast, they're bringing in a very impressive cast. Now, one thing I do mention in the video is that Will Smith is playing Deadshot, and honestly, I hope that cast sticks. I hope that Will Smith stays with the project. He does have a tendency to drop out of ensemble cast movies, as you probably know. So, but I'd love to see his rendition of this character because it's a cool character, and Will Smith is a fantastic actor, and I really want to see that come to fruition.
Now, we know that Will Smith has worked with Margot Robbie already together, so maybe that's a reason for them to kind of get and team back up for this movie. I,
Sure.
I mean, I don't know too much about the Deadshot character, but I'm just not convinced he's the kind of guy that would be like, no, which is what Will Smith does in all of his movies. No, I can't do it because I'm obviously not Will Smith. But you know the one I'm talking about? He does it in
I know
Independence
exactly.
Day.
He has
Yeah.
it's the cockiness that he brings to it. It just kind of emits into that one sound.
No. Okay, I'll stop it. We'll get the point. So you got a new gig. Tell us about that. That sounds like a lot of fun, and I have no idea how you have time to do all the things that you're doing.
I have no clue how I have all the time to do all these things, but yeah, this was kind of a new thing. I hope to be working with New Media Rockstars more often. I love talking about geek stuff, and on Smosh Games, we really gear more towards obviously video game shenanigans. So anytime I get a breakaway to talk about comics is a lot of fun.
How I know it all started because you got on King of the Nerds, and that was beginning of last year. Yeah, we're
Two,
still it's yeah,
yes,
2013,
2000.
beginning of last year. How did that happen? Because obviously that's something that everyone would want to do, but it's virtually impossible bar 15 people to get on it.
Well, what was really funny was we shot King of the Nerds season one the summer of 2012.
Whoa.
Um, Wait, was it 2012? Yes. No. No, no, that's when it aired, right? Yes.
No, I thought it
No.
aired in 2013.
Yes,
Stay with me
2013.
here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're getting ready for season three to come out next year. That's why my math is wrong. Um, but they were planning that a good amount of time beforehand. So I was in pre-production to launch Smosh Games when I disappeared for a few weeks to film King of the Nerds. So then I came back, Smosh Games launched, and then King of the Nerds hit, and I was just having the biggest 3 months of my life.
So what were you doing before that? Pre-Smosh, what was the plan for you?
So pre-Smosh, in 2008, I was actually working at VH1 doing working on reality television behind the scenes, more post-production, and they went through a round of layoffs. So that's when I started looking into new media. And like back in 2009, it was a very new thing. Obviously, YouTube was big; there were YouTube stars, but people were looking at how to make the digital field viable. So I started just paying a lot more attention there and worked at a few different companies, learned a lot, and slowly got myself on camera. And so I worked for a website called Mahalo.com. I was at the Stream.tv. Then I got picked up over at Clever Media, doing their Clever movies, and then moved over to Clever Games, which then we then merged with the Smosh guys to make Smosh Games afterwards. So I've been on the internet for since 2009 now, kind of just getting it all together.
Is it true that you put in the second V for clever?
Is it? Yes. That wasn't my decision. That was a Clevever because it's
Yeah.
clever. Yeah, it's a thing.
But isn't that an oxymoron? Putting a spelling error in clever, because then that would mean you're not very clever because you couldn't spell it.
Or maybe we're so clever that we see something that no one else sees yet. Maybe,
Maybe you have a
possibly.
speech impediment. Clever.
Yeah, that's what it was. We actually made a joke when we were becoming Smosh Games. We made an announcement to the Clever Games fans saying, yeah, the reason we're going into Smosh Games is because Ovenshire accidentally spelled clever wrong, and we're tired of living with that name, so we're going to go become Smosh Games.
Abort. Now, what's really cool is that I asked everyone that's watching this to submit some questions, and we have a bunch happening. I'm just going to get to a couple now, but then at the end of the show, we'll do a bunch more. And, there are a lot of them, so if you want, I can just punch them out, unless you've got a great story, of course, because I love hearing those. We've got one from at Charlie's. Oh, yeah, Papal. This is like a live Q&A. I'm going to grill you. I'm going to corner you, literally. You're in the corner of your own bedroom.
I am. I have nowhere to run.
I planned that. All right, so Charlie Century wants to know, do you like Magic the Gathering?
I love Magic the Gathering. My dad is a really big nerd himself, and so that was, growing up, that was like father-son bonding time was playing Magic the Gathering cards. So I've been playing that since like 94, 95, and it's still something we'll break in the office, like, hey, Magic break, and then just kind of get away with some geeky playing cards.
We're going to play a game, and this is a little count tally on how many times I say same, because that's my dad's the nerd of the family, that's why I am, and I started playing Magic the Gathering in 94, 95. Ding, ding, sweet. James McQuarrie, the bumbling idiot, also can't stand the hashtag Flaro, and he's glad that he's not alone there.
Nice.
Keeping it in the Warcraft family, do you play WoW?
I never, as much of a gamer as I am, I never had a PC that was good enough for games growing up, so I kind of missed all of that. So I'm excited to see the new expansion now because everyone's getting back into it again, but it was never my cup of tea.
So two same. No, I played WoW. We had a PC. Oh, did we have a PC? Charlie also wants to say that they love you. That's really sweet.
And I love you too.
Oh, that's beautiful. Scrolling. Oh, here we go. One from sexy_directioner. Who is your best friend at Smosh Games?
That's actually what's really cool about Smosh Games is I couldn't pick one. It's because we literally are a group of friends that hang out and we play video games and we work together and we have a YouTube channel together. So when people watch us, it's not just like, oh, they're cast members and they're pretending to be friends. Like last night, the entire cast was at my place and we're just playing Super Smash Brothers and having a good time. So it's really neat being able to have,
what character do you play?
Oh, my new character is Bowser Jr. I am like deadly with that guy. In fact, I believe next Saturday? No. At the end of the month, I'm putting up a top 5 where I talk about the other best Super Smash Bros. Characters, and he might be on that list somewhere.
Huh. I only played it on 64 and on GameCube, and I was such a fan of Samus. She killed it.
Because she's fantastic.
Naturally. Got one from Ashley Garul. I hope I'm saying your name right. Garul. A Coolness 1220 asks, what do you do in your free time other than play video games / reading comics?
Free time. I like to binge watch like old old shows on Netflix. By old, I mean like The Office or Scrubs, like shows that I've already watched. I know that I love them. I can just kind of put it on and kind of like vegetate at the end of the day. I just did Scrubs again, and now I'm going through The Office and you catch things that you didn't catch before. So I'll like read some comics while I'm watching Netflix. It's the best way to end the day.
Mine's Buffy at the moment. Nice. Netflix. So I'm going through the Glory season at the moment. And one from Jackie, would you ever cosplay, and who would you cosplay as?
I have a lot of cosplayer friends, and I respect the art of it. It's not my favorite thing to do, I have cosplayed once before because I wanted to try it out. I did a Logan cosplay and I had Mari from Smosh Games. She was X-23, and Ivan from King of the Nerds was Sabretooth.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was amazing. The pictures came out fantastic. It was really fun to hang out with fans. But when I go to a convention, like I grew up going to conventions. I want to go around. I want to see all of the art. I want to buy a bunch of stuff. And being stopped to take pictures because of my outfit, I was like, ooh, but I'm trying to buy this Walking Dead thing over here. Give me 1 second. It was very tough to get the two together.
I just don't. I mean, just because we're all geeks doesn't mean we can also. There's this expectation that you have to just whip out a completely thorough-looking, beautiful outfit. It's like I actually studied fashion for 6 months before I dropped out, and I made a pair of boxer shorts, and I was just like, "This is the best thing I'm ever going to do in my life." So we're just going to have to call it a day.
It's just off the mic there.
One thing that I have read about, and someone's asking it too, so I'm going to tie the two together. This is something that I'm really fascinated by. You are into paranormal investigating.
Yes.
Please tell me more about this, because you were actually in a group, weren't you? And Melinda Murray has asked this, and she says you're awesome. But I want to know how did you get in a group, and what is your intrigue with the whole supernatural?
Interesting. Yeah, this actually started when I was very, very young. Actually, I was in high school at the time, and a good friend of mine who had just graduated from high school, his cousin ran a paranormal group in Southern California, and then he kind of left it to his cousin, my friend, when he moved to the East Coast. So hanging out with him, and I was really good with video production and tech, so I kind of tagged along and was helping out with that. And so I did that for a while, and then we started doing documentaries with this producer in Hollywood, and that got us meeting other groups. I've worked with a lot of the Ghost Hunter cast members, like on all the early TV shows, like when you had obviously Ghost Hunters with Taps, you had uh, Paranormal State. A lot of those shows, I actually got to work with people in pre-production. So, and then it was actually all those connections doing documentaries and TV shows with paranormal stuff that got me to VH1, then got me into new media. So if it wasn't for Hunting Ghosts, I would not actually be talking to you right now.
So did you do it just because you had the skills to help out a team, or is this something that you were like really
I
keen on
was
doing?
I was always intrigued by it. It was like especially a little bit younger. Actually, I remember thinking like, I love the movie Ghostbusters. I would love to help out. Then very quickly realizing it's nothing like Ghostbusters and it's a much different thing. But I fell in love with it. It was interesting. We got to help people on a much different level, and I liked that. Uh, and I was like the techie on the group, so it was my job to go in and kind of debunk everything. So it's like, okay,
Did
this
you
isn't it.
see anything?
Um, yes, there were quite a few things that we've seen happen. I've seen things move. I've heard things. We've had some very clear EVPs that were like bone chilling, where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, there you go. That's what you want to know. There was something here. Yeah, there's something here. There you go, proof.
What did you record? I'm so fascinated by
Uh,
this.
we had a very special tour of the Queen Mary, and we were on the E deck. Now this is the very bottom of the ship. Now it's not something they talk about like publicly, but it's in the history books that Queen Mary was used during World War II, and what they would do is they'd get prisoners of war, and they'd throw them in the bottom of the ship to transport them around, and it was just a giant hole, so that a lot of people died down there fighting each other. And when you're down at the bottom of the ship, it's super dangerous. There's no tech down there or anything. It's just a hole, and you can actually hear people speaking German and Italian around you, and you're like, wait, what was that? Who here speaks German? No? Okay, that wasn't us. Let's go now.
Have
So that
you brought a ghost or a spirit home with you? Because apparently I've done that once.
um
Because they attach.
that that is a very common thing that can happen in that field. And there was one time I was editing a interview with oh shoot, I want to remember forget his name. Zach Braffis? Something Braffis. Zach Braffis. He was a demonologist, and It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm editing in my apartment, and all of a sudden I see my speaker, my computer speaker, start to move. And immediately I shut everything off. I saved everything to a hard drive, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm not working on this at home anymore. I'm going to work in the studio. This is where I'm going to finish this. And then that was the last time I ever brought work home.
Do you get rattled by it? Is this something that really affects you, or are you kind of like...
I've actually been out of the paranormal for a very, very long time now. So it's not something that affects me too much on a day-to-day at all. Even back then, it was another day in the office. It's like, oh, well, this is creepy. Okay, cool. The lights are flickering. That's nice. Oh, hey, look.
Do you like horror movies?
I love horror movies. Growing up, well, my dad does special effects for movies. So I grew up, I watched Night of the Living Dead when I was 5 years old. I walked home when I was 6 years old to see a full-scale animatronic velociraptor in my living room. So, I've always been around monsters and creatures and whatnot.
What was the velociraptor for?
My dad had made one in the shop that he was working at, and he brought it home because he loves dinosaurs, but he didn't tell me. So I was a latchkey kid, and it was a murky day as I walked home. It was the clouds were out, so the sun wasn't really shining into the house. All the blinds were closed, so I walk in, didn't think anything of it, close the door behind me, turn around, and all of a sudden there's a velociraptor that's all like, and looks right at me, and I scream the highest pitched scream you could possibly imagine, and I hightail it out of my apartment, run to my buddy's house. I'm like, I can't go home. There's a dinosaur there. No, we aren't going to go see the dinosaur. There's a dinosaur in my home. We aren't going there. So I'm waiting on the balcony, waiting to see my mom 5 hours later, and I run down like, Mom, you can't go upstairs. There's a dinosaur there. And then she gets all upset, there better not be a dinosaur upstairs. That was my time.
I was going to say, what other adventures did you kind of have? Because no one in there, I've never ever come across someone that has just walked into a velociraptor house.
No, it's been interesting. When I was a kid, my dad did a life, not a life scale, a mold of my face. And so just being a 8-year-old with all this plaster on my face, all right, are we done yet? Are you done yet? Can I move my face now? No? Okay, I'll wait here. Growing up with that was a lot of fun.
I can imagine. Does this mean that you kind of want to get into that side of things, follow your father in his footsteps, or are you happy?
I know that he definitely wanted me to try. I did not get the artistic genes from him. I got the fun personality that my mom had. So I've just
had?
Yes, still has. Yeah, now I'll see my dad and we'll talk about behind the scenes of movies and whatnot, but he'll talk about it from the aspect of the artist, and I will talk about it as the aspect of the reporter, and we'll come together and say, oh, did you hear about this? Oh, yeah, we're working on this. I'm like, oh, well, okay, then you already know. Never mind.
Yeah. Now, you are kind of first and foremost a gamer. Smosh is all about games.
Yes.
The editing, the packaging, the new media side that is attached to it, but, out of all the things that you would probably specialize in, it would be video games. I want to know, what was the game that made you a gamer?
The very first game I remember playing was an Atari game called Outlaw, I believe, and me and my grandpa would play it when I went over. But ever since the NES days, all the classics like Contra, Mario Brothers, obviously, every gen console that you can think of, I had the chance to play growing up, and I was hooked.
Favorite game? What's the best game of all time?
Mass Effect 2. I'd say the trilogy for an easy answer, but Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time, hands down.
No shit.
I've played through 3 or 4 times at about 30 to 40 hours of playthrough. Yeah, I've put some time into it.
So, do you prefer playing Paragon or Renegade?
My first playthrough. My first playthrough is always the answers that I myself would feel in the moment. So it's a mix of both. But I always have a lot of fun playing through a second time, just all Renegade. Punch the reporter, get everyone killed. It's fun.
Can't do it. I tried so hard when I played Mass Effect 3, and I was like, right.
In Mass Effect 3, it's very difficult because if you're a bad guy, people are going to die around you that you've known for 80 hours now. So
Who's your
you
favorite?
can't save them all.
Favorite character that you always had in your group in all the Mass Effects?
I would say, ooh,
I've got mine.
Garrus, because he was like,
He's
he
my
was like,
homeboy!
yeah, he's the homeboy. Like he was badass. He was cracking great jokes. I remember playing Mass Effect 2 for the first time, and then you realize that the Archangel is Garrus, and I'm like, what? What? This is awesome.
But he's always so level-headed.
Yep, smart guy.
Yeah.
And still funny. Still is gonna
Oh,
shoot someone's head off and crack a joke about it.
I IMDb'd the voice actor for that one, and they don't. It's just like, how did this person make that voice come out of their mouth?
Oh, that's always the best when you see that.
Would you ever want to get into voice acting?
So badly. I've done a few things before. I've voiced a few web cartoons. I have a voice in the Smosh mobile game, which is out now and free to play. And I'm like one of the first voices that you hear in the game. So I'm like, sweet, like this is awesome. I want to do a lot more of it, but it's a tough, very tough industry to crack into. But maybe if I'm lucky,
So
if I keep
clicky.
working hard, yeah.
I've actually had a lot of voice actors on Geeks Unleashed, and the first question is, what's that first step? Like, how do you get in? Because it just seems like everyone within this sort of circle gets all the jobs. It's like, how do you get in there?
It's very tough, and it really does come down to like who you know and what opportunities you can make for yourself.
That's true. Next little thing I want to chat with you about is something that I really didn't know about you, and it kind of threw me off because you just don't look like a lover of tattoos, yet you're covered.
I have a few tattoos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 6. 6 tattoos.
Go on, let's go through them.
All right, so I have this one here.
Hold on, don't tell me. It means don't fear your decision.
Yes, you got that one down. I spent a lot of one of my best friends in high school was Japanese, and growing up I spent a lot of time there. What's that?
How'd
See, you already know more than I do. They tried to teach me Japanese. I could not learn it. My brain would not. I gotta go. That's the extent of it that I know. But being in his households during those 4 years was a really big part of my life, and their culture really did rub off on me. And there was I went to a masquerade when I was younger, early 20s, and someone was making fun of how everyone looked while they're dancing, and they said like the only reason they get to be like this is because they get to be someone else when they're wearing a mask. And I was like, no. This is the one night of the year they get to be themselves. They aren't afraid to dance and do what they want to do because it makes them happy. So that's when I was like, no, don't let other people rule your decisions. And so I put the Japanese culture with that quote together as best as I could.
So that it would be your life slogan.
Oh, absolutely. It's the best way to live life. Then I have this tattoo right here. I'm gonna how can I do this without working on a touch screen here, so I don't want to ruin it. But I have these fangs on the wrist. That actually is the logo of the first paranormal group that I worked with, and that obviously because if it wasn't for that group, I again wouldn't be here talking to you now. I have a Batman tattoo because superheroes, Batman, a big part of my life ever since I was a kid. I have.
Where's that one?
That one is on my. Oh wait, yes, bicep here.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you can see it. And then on my calf is the Mandalorian symbol because come on, Mandalorians are the best. Star Wars lore, you can't go wrong with it. And it
Hold on, when you're on Jedi Alliance and the number 3 question we ask you is who's your favorite character, I don't think you said Boba Fett.
Didn't I? Did I say Han Solo?
I think you said Han Solo.
I think I said, well, as much as I love Boba Fett, I do love Han Solo more. Now, I also love the Mandalorian culture more than I love Boba Fett. Boba Fett, if you think about it, in episodes 4, 5, and 6, definitely gets underplayed. Now, if you want to read the Expanded Universe and the Tales of the Bounty Hunter series, yeah, Boba Fett's one of the greatest characters ever. But
it's not canon anymore.
Yeah, arguably, there's a small group of us that still. George Lucas can't tell us what's canon. No, if we say it's canon, or we try.
George Lucas can't tell you on anything really anymore. But Disney can.
Disney will try a little bit harder.
So you've got this symbol. I mean, I've got Boba next to me. I say Boba because I'm Australian, but everyone's like Boba.
That works. That's actually an
That's
awesome
just-
poster. I haven't seen that.
Thank you. I picked this one up at Kamikaze last year, actually.
Oh, nice. Kamikaze is a fun convention to go to. It's been getting a lot better each year.
It has been getting
But
better.
yeah, so I have the Mandalorian tattoo, and then I have a sword down my spine because I used to do martial arts, and I actually would go to a Shaolin temple to learn, and one of the I might be one of the most interesting people you've ever talked to. I'm just gonna say that right now. But
Hey, you had me at Velociraptor.
we owned, like, we were responsible for a sword, not always the one that we used, but we were responsible for it. It had to stay clean, had to stay sharp, and it was just like, it was a responsibility thing, so I actually have that sword that goes down my spine. And then I have...
So hold on, you fought with a sword?
Yes. Oh, I'm fantastic with weapons. Like, more than anything in my life, I want to be in either, even if it's like a short YouTube video where I get to do martial arts and use swords, or maybe a full-length feature where I get to fight side-by-side Ray Park. That would be fantastic. I want to do more...
Fun fact, I'm taller than Ray Park. That was devastating to find.
Yeah. He's a shorter guy. What, 5?
He's 5'10".
5'10"?
I'm just extraordinarily tall.
Look at you. You could take on Darth Maul. You could kick his ass.
I've thought about it. And he wouldn't. He'd be like, and I'd be like,
about 2 seconds, like, oh. Like, I'm done. Nice try. The door's open. He lights the second lightsaber. I'm like, we'll go the other way.
Yeah. My bad.
And then my last tattoos, I have gears over my heart.
This is the new one. I want to see this one.
So this one is, if I can kind of see without dropping everything, right there. I was actually pronounced dead at one point in time from electrocution.
You told me about this because when we were talking about force power, you were like, "Well, I have to have electrocution."
Yep.
Because you're obsessed with lightning.
I'm close. So now the joke is that there's cogs there instead of a heart keeping me alive.
How does one get struck by lightning?
Well, it was I was working with circuit breakers and I was dumb, and the switch had fallen inside of the wall, so I was like, okay, I'll just reach in and like flip the switch. No, I accidentally grabbed onto the live wire and it just shot right through me. Luckily, the project we were working on, there was paramedics on site, and they were able to actually declare me dead, and then I came back afterwards.
How long was your heart had it stopped for?
It was minutes, just a few minutes, but long enough for them to be like, oh, his heart stopped. That sucks. And then it started working again.
Are you going to write a book? But seriously, and it needs to be called "I am probably the most interesting person you've ever met."
I would love to. There'd be a lot of interesting stories to tell. So maybe one day. Maybe I don't know if people would find it too interesting, but they could, maybe.
Well, I've only had sort of like half an hour, and I'm already just like, whoa. I did want to get into Smosh games a little bit, but one more call out for everyone that's got questions, because we're doing one last quick question round. But I want to know what your average week is like at Smosh. I mean, we only ever kind of see what the videos that are happening, but sort of like Monday to Friday, talk me through it. It's
every week's a little bit different. It depends on what kind of guest appearances we're doing, or if we're doing bigger shoots. There are some shows that we try to shoot in bulk because we like to make great content, so we'll spend a little more time on post-production. We don't want to rush anything to get it out the same day. But it's like the first part of the week is going through pre-production and like, all right, what would be a great concept for our show Grand Theft Smosh? Like, what do we want to try to achieve this time? What's the beginning, middle, of end? Nothing that we do is scripted. It all comes from the heart and just being a personality. But we still need to guide a project along so that it hits the right beats. We have a writers meeting every week for Honest Game trailers. Which, have you seen any of the Honest trailers before?
Everyone is talking about those. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I've got 9 contributors, and they're like, have you seen the latest one? And it's like, shut up.
They're amazing. So we teamed up with the guys over at Screen Junkies to do Honest Game trailers. So it's all the same writers. We obviously have John Bailey doing the same voice, but we jump into the writers' room also for the video game ones. and that's always a fun meeting, especially when we do
Which
the
ones?
Pokemon games.
I was gonna say, which one's your favorite?
Um, the first Pokemon, we did a honest game trailer for Pokemon Red and Blue, because at the end of every segment, obviously there's the starring segment, but for Pokemon, we're like, all right, well, we have to do all of them. Let's name 1 through 151 Pokemon, and it was just the funnest meeting I've ever been in. Just 2 hours of like making fun of each Pokemon, coming up with a name for it. It was fantastic.
How many Pokemon can you name on the spot?
On the spot, quickly, probably a good deal. I remember there was one time me and a friend, we were talking about it, and we were like, could we name all 151 Pokemon? And it took us about 30 minutes, but we got them all without
Oh, so
looking anything up.
if we go back and forth right now, we'd get about 150, I think.
It would take some time, but I think we'd get there. I think it's possible to get there. I'm a bit rusty, but it would take time.
Onyx.
There's a Bellsprout. That's one of them, right? There's a Bellsprout in there.
Geodude. We're
Who?
doing this.
Oh,
Geodude.
Oh, wait, Geodude. Well, see, if you start in the middle, you're going to get all confused. You have to go from the beginning. You got Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Squirtle...
Charmander.
Yeah, so you got Squirtle, Voltorb, Blastoise, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. I think Caterpillars or Caterpie's next. Is it? Or is it Pidgey? Oh, wait, never mind.
You're going in order?
I thought I could go in order, but then I started getting confused with Pidgey or Caterpie. Maybe I can't do it. Maybe I'm not as good as Pokemon as I thought.
Have you got a favorite?
Bellsprout. For whatever weird reason, Bellsprout was always my favorite Pokemon. He was just like tall and lanky. And when I was younger, I played the Pokemon card game, and I had this green deck that was like around Bellsprout, Weeping Bell, and Victory Bell, and my deck kicked everyone's butt. I'd go to this Barnes & Nobles for Pokemon League when I was a kid, and I'd whip everyone. Just recognize. Nerd cred.
Rapidash. I like Rapidash for some reason.
It's adorable. It's a horse on fire. How do you go wrong with that?
I know. Artax! That's how. Oh, too soon?
Nope.
All right, so let's get some of the questions happening. Charlie wants to know, are you going to do a playlist live?
Yes. We were supposed to go to playlist this year, but being on the West Coast, it's a little more difficult. I think we just had a scheduling conflict, and that does become a problem because there's lots of events to go to and trying to pick and choose which ones are the right ones, and fiscally, which are the easiest to do. I would love to do playlists, so hopefully next year.
Good answer. Okay. Which one is more underrated, Farscape or Firefly, from James?
I think Farscape is more underrated. Like, Firefly has its huge fan following, and for obvious reasons, it's amazing. But you can talk to your average nerd and be like, Firefly? Firefly. You say, Farscape. They're like, that was a show on TV, right? Is that like Babylon 5? Like, no, not the same thing. Not the same thing.
John Crichton, Aaron Sood, Dargo, D apostrophe, Argo, Chiana, which is my personal favorite, played by Gigi Edgley, who I actually ran into at the races in Sydney, Australia, and I was a bumbling idiot. And, you know, she's just an Australian actress, you know, just doing her thing, and I kind of walked up and I was like, hello, Gigi. I'm a really big fan of Chiana from Farscape, and she was like so earnest. She looked at me and she goes, oh honey, you're one of 4 people that watch the show. And I was like, I have the box set DVD. I've got all the seasons. I loved it. And like, I first came across that show when I was 14, and I went to like a private all-girls school, so there was absolutely no way I could talk to anyone about this show. So I ended up getting my mum into it, and we loved it. All right, questions coming. James also wants you to know that he died twice as a baby. His heart stopped twice during, like, near after birth.
Well, obviously he's going to grow up to have superpowers and save the universe, so I'm looking out for you, kid. Yeah,
obviously. Brittany wants to know if you're ever going to do an episode of Hot Pepper Gaming.
Oh, God. I've done one episode of Hot Pepper Gaming. You can YouTube that and just Hot Pepper Gaming Ovenshire. I talked about.
What was the game?
I talked about Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which I love the game. I do.
But by eating a hot pepper, you have a garden warfare in your mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Garden warfare against my taste buds. That's clever. That's clever with two V's right there. I love spicy food. My mouth doesn't like it, and it's embarrassingly hilarious if you watch it. It's just me gasping for air. There's one section my brain gets stuck in a loop, and I keep saying the word maps over and over and over. It's funny.
There's absolutely, yeah,
it's worth
that's
a
not my cup of tea. Kathleen wants to know, what's your favorite incarnation of Robin?
That's a tough one. I was thinking about this earlier today. I want to say I think Tim Drake was the best Robin. He was in the same level as Batman when it came to like detective skills, and obviously he's just a kid. But he wasn't as much as a pain as Grayson or Jason Todd, and so I think it was just a better fit for Batman. Then in the New 52 becomes Red Robin and leads the Teen Titans, and he did a great job there. So I think Tim Drake, he's the way to go. You go, Tim Drake.
Don't talk about my Grayson like that. He's not a best.
I'm a huge Grayson fan, and I love his new series, his new DC comic series where he's a detective doing detective. I think it's great.
Do you think that is going to be, because I know when we left things off with Dark Knight Rises, that Third Rock from the Sun, what's his name again?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Thank you, that he's going to become Nightwing maybe, or at least the Dick Grayson, even though his name's not Dick.
There was a Machinima video that went up. It was very well done. That it took place after Dark Knight Rises, and like Red Hood's the villain, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt allegedly shows up. It was a great video. If they ever expanded on the Nolanverse, I would love to see what he would do as the Dark Knight, or as Grayson, or whatever he would wind up being.
So you love Dick? I
do. Dick is just a great character.
Hold on. So anyone who's actually clever with gifts and stuff, you're welcome. There it is. That is all we have time for, though. We have to wrap things up. We went a little bit over than suspected, but you're right. You're one of the most interesting people I've ever met. So it was an absolute privilege talking to you. We are going to put this video up straight away. So if anyone has missed out live, have a watch of this, and you can join the conversation throughout there, because you did go through a lot, and I learned a lot about you, which is pretty cool. What's going to be your next tattoo?
I've actually been thinking about it. Growing up, like, I had my 6 tattoos planned out. And then there was always a 7th one where I wanted to get a tribal-esque dragon that would be a little bit bigger, that kind of maybe like around the chest, like down the side. But as an adult, I kind of look at that like being, maybe that's a little too much, but who knows? Maybe I will go back to it one day.
Come on, a dragon? There is no what if or why not. It
would be amazing. It would look really good. But I think that would be the tattoo that takes me from a guy having tattoos to being a tatted up guy. I think that would be the thing that crosses the line. So
it's like when I got tattoos, I always thought that I would be really inconspicuous with mine. So naturally, I got a Triforce on my finger that I cannot hide. It's just and like,
way to go.
Because I talk into a microphone like this, and this is my microphone hand. So any shot that I ever have, it's just like the Triforce.
It's like, I'll be really subtle with my tattoos. Oh no, here it is for everyone to see, and I appreciate and respect that.
Thank you. So if people want to get more of your stuff, what are you working on at the moment, and where can you send everyone if they are new to the whole Joven?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Ovenshire. Please check out at Smosh Games. Some great shows to watch for newcomers are Grand Theft Smosh, which you don't have to know anything about Grand Theft Auto, which is really fun to watch. Plus, we have Honest Game trailers, which everyone loves those, so you should be watching those too.
Hold on, you have that other thing that you were doing. I just watched an episode on how to make a YouTube video.
There's my personal YouTube channel, the Ovenshire. All the branding is there. Where that's like I get a little creative there. Like I just took a bunch of gameplay footage from Batman Arkham Knight and put it to the Dark Knight trailer. So when I'm feeling creative, or when I want to talk about movie news or comic book news or rants, I'll put it there on that channel as well.
Also, I don't know where we're at with the DC hosting. Where have they decided yet?
They haven't made any decisions yet.
Good. Everyone go online right now and watch his video and spread it out to everyone, and make sure you retweet it and watch it and get lots of views, because Ovenshire is going up for the DC All Access host.
It would be a dream job. It's me, another person named Jason Inman, who I've met. He's a great host, knows his comics, and someone I've also worked with, Andrea Renee. So maybe if my episode gets a bunch more views, maybe it'll give me a chance. Maybe.
Whoop, whoop. There we go. One last final plug. Make sure you do that because it is Saturday night, and really, let's be honest, what else are we going to do?
That's true.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
3 more times.
3 more times. I'm going to watch it 10 more times, so whatever. No, this is not a competition, but you have to win it. You have to win it. This is Geeks Unleashed. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel if you have subscribed. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up. We do this a lot more, but we did go on a little bit of a hiatus because, I don't know, no big deal, was in London doing the Hobbit premiere, which was a lot of fun. You can check out the video for that as well. Geek Bomb Shells on Twitter. We are on Facebook. This has been Geek Bomb, and the bomb has been dropped.
Boom.